Okay, so the question that we are going to attempt is this December 2017, and the name of the question is Wardegul Company, December 2017, question number 4. Let's try to understand this question because this question is going to be on the interest rate risk management. So what exactly is this question? It says Wardegul, a company based in the Eurozone, has expanded very rapidly over the recent years by a combination of acquiring subsidiaries in foreign countries and setting up its own operations abroad. Wardegul's board has found it increasingly difficult to monitor its activities, and Wardegul Company's supports function, including its treasury, have struggled to cope up with greatly increased workload. Wardegul's board has decided to restructure the company on a regional basis. So this is what they have decided, that they're going to restructure the company on a regional basis so that they could operate on a region wise with regional boards and appropriate support functions. Managers in some of the large countries in which Wardegul operates are unhappy with the reorganization and believe that operations in the countries should be given a large amount of autonomy and supported by internal functions organized on a national basis. So basically, the company is trying to go towards a restructuring where it is actually going to go for a regional structure where the centralized support function will be based regionally rather than nationally. Now, what does it say? It says the requirement of the question is recommend a hedging strategy for the 27 million D currency investment based on the hedging choices which treasury staff are considering. If interest rate increases by 1.1 or decreases by 0.6%. Support your answer with appropriate calculations and discussions. So what do we need to do? We need to recommend a hedging strategy. What sort of hedging strategy do we need to recommend? We need to recommend a hedging strategy for the 27 million D based on the hedging choices which treasury staff are considering if interest rate rise by 1.1. Usually when it comes to an interest rate risk management question, the examiner usually examines us this way. How? He examines us this way, like he would actually tell you that you would have to actually assume that the interest rate will either go up by a certain percent or will go down by a certain percent. So it says support your answer with appropriate calculations and discussions. So that's what you have to do. Support your answer with appropriate calculations and discussion. Now let's see. So it says, assume it is now 1st October 2017. Whenever you are going through a risk management question, the dates are essential, dates are important. So the now date is 1st October 2017. The treasury function has just received information about a future transaction by a newly acquired subsidiary in Urea, where the local currency is the dinar. The subsidiary expects to receive 27 million dinar on 31st January 2018. So always remember, whenever you are attempting a question on the risk management, try to make a timeline. So it's 1st October 17, which is right now, and 31st January 2018, which is actually going to be a time period of October, November, December, and January, 4 months from now. It says it wants this money to be invested locally in Urea, most probably for 5 months period until 30th June. So there is actually going to be a 5-month period till 30th June 2018. So in 4 months from now, they are expected to receive the currency which they are going to deposit, and they are actually going to withdraw the currency on 30th June. Now, the treasury team is aware that the economic conditions in Urea are currently uncertain. Central bank base rate is currently 4.2%. So central bank's base rate is just like a LIBOR or a KIBOR or whatsoever rate. So it's a 4.2%, So that is interbank offered rate probably. And the treasury team believes it can invest the funds at central bank rates less 30 basis points. So you could invest at 4.2% less 0.3%, which is 3.9%, or more, or a better way of expressing it, IBOR, which is the interbank offered rate, less 0.3%. It says, however, Treasury staff have seen predictions that the central bank base rate could increase by 1.1 or fall by 0.6 between now and 31st Jan 2008. The Treasury staff normally hedge interest rate exposure by using whichever of the following product is most appropriate. So forward rate agreements are used. Number 2 point is the interest rate futures, the option on interest rate futures. So for those who have joined in a bit late, December 17, question number 4, Wardegul company. So these are the 3 options that they are being made available, which is the forward rate agreements. Number 2 is the interest rate futures, and number 3 is the options on interest rate futures. Now it says, Treasury function guidelines emphasize the importance of mitigating the impact of adverse movements in interest rates. However, they also allow staff to take into consideration upside risk, etc. Now, so what we need to do is that we have been given this available information, and on the basis of this available information, we need to actually recommend a hedging strategy. Now remember, what is exactly happening in this specific question of Wardegul? In this specific question of Wardegul, what is actually happening is, you're standing on 1st October right now, and you expect to receive the money on 31st Jan. There's going to be a receipt on 31st Jan, and you would deposit the money up till 30th June. So what exactly are we doing? We are actually a lender. We're actually a lender. So as a lender, what risk are we facing? We are facing that the interest rates will actually go down. As a lender, we are facing a risk that the interest rates will go down. So basically, you are technically a lender. You're technically a lender. So that means you are facing, your risk is going to be that the interest rates would go down. Now try to understand that what risk do we face. Try to understand what risk do we face. The risk that we are facing is, we know that we can deposit at interbank rate less 0.3%. This is what we can deposit in the bank at. But the risk that we are facing is, this interbank rate is 4.2% right now. So if I deposit at 0.3 at this rate, I am going to get 3.9% from the bank. My risk is that this rate of 4.2% may go down to 3.5 or 3.6 or 3 or whatsoever. So my ultimate deposit amount is going to be at 3.2%, and I'm going to get a lesser return. So actual, my risk is the downside movement of interest rates. My risk is the downside movement of interest rates. Now how am I going to hedge? Using the forward rate agreement. So whenever you go for the forward rate agreement, this is how a local bank in Urea, with which Wardegul has not dealt before, has offered the following FRA rates. So this is what the FRA that you're being offered. Now, what is this FRA? So you've been given 4-9 FRA. What does it mean? It means 4 months from now for 5 months. Now, so basically this 4, this is counted from time period 0. This 9 is also counted from time period 0. Now what do you mean by this? If you want to borrow, or if you want to lend the money in 4 months from now for a period of 5 months, then the relevant FRA is going to be 4-9 for you. So what does 4-9 means? If you want to borrow or lend in 4 months from now for a period of 5 months, so 4-9 is relevant FRA for you, because 4 plus 5 is 9. Similarly, 5-10 is relevant FRA for you if you have to deposit in 5 months from now for a period of another 5 months. So 5-10 is a relevant FRA for you. Now let's try to understand. So if I talk about it, what actually happens is, we're being told that we are expecting that the money is going to be received by us on 31st Jan. So when I talk about the time period from 1st of October, from 1st of October to 31st of Jan, it actually is a period of 4 months. When I talk about the time period from the 1st of October till the 31st of Jan, it's actually a period of 4 months. And when I talk about the time period for this time, this is 5 months. So the relevant FRA is 4-9 FRA. Relevant FRA is 4-9. And when it comes to risk management, you get easy marks. How do you get easy marks? You get easy marks by simply, you get your easy marks by simply actually identifying the relevant contracts. So you've been given 2 FRAs, and if you identify the relevant FRA, you will get the relevant marks. And then it says 5.02%. Now what do you mean by 5.02%? That means over here we are only being given one interest rate, which is 5.02%. But had we been given, let's say 4.8% to 5.02%. So always remember that the rate which is actually at a disadvantageous rate is going to belong to you. So the rate applicable to lender would have been this, the rate applicable to borrower would have been this. But in this case, you're not being given any other rate, you're just being given one rate. So this is going to be the applicable rate. So basically our FRA 4-9 is the relevant FRA at 5.02%. What does it mean? It means the bank has committed to us that no matter what happens, no matter whatever the interest rates are, they would end up paying 5.02% of the interbank rate to us. Remember, the FRA is only on the interbank rate. It is not interbank rate minus 0.3%. This is not what the FRA covers. FRA only covers the interbank rate. Now let's try to understand. So basically, the spot rate was 4.2%. It could go up by 1.1%. It could go down by 0.6%. So resultingly, the interbank rate is going to be 5.3%. The interbank rate is going to be 3.6%. So one of the situations of the interbank rate is going to be, it could be 5.3%. It could be 3.6%. Now, so basically what happens is, interest income, how do we get it? The 27 million multiplied by 5.3% minus 0.3% into 5 upon 12. So it is actually going to be it is actually going to be 562,500. This is what the interest income that you would receive. This is the interest income that you would receive. What? 562,500. Why? Because the rate applicable is 5.3%, and you can deposit at 0.3% below the interbank rate. So once you have an interest income of 562,500, so what would happen is there is actually going to be a settlement under FRA. Now, what is this settlement under FRA? We were actually allowed a rate of 5.02%, and we ended up getting this rate of 5.3%. So the bank with whom we have contracted, we will need to make a settlement of this 5.3 minus 5.02, which is 0.28% to that bank. We'll have to make a settlement to that bank of 0.28%.